Alright, today we're going to do a breakdown of the trades that were taken on Tuesday the 4th of June 2024 and Wednesday the 5th of June 2024. So, starting on the weekly time frame, what we want to see on the weekly time frame is due to this candle closing above this previous doji over here and also tapping into this weekly fair value gap that we can see just over here. We are looking for a higher print, or at least the next weekly candle to be somewhat bullish. So the draw is there for the weekly time frame. So we'll just mark that out with a W. And that's all really to be seen for this time frame. So moving down to the daily time frame, we can see that this is the weekly imbalance. This is the low of that weekly imbalance there. Just go back for reference. We can see that the weekly imbalance is below that low. So we can also see that there's a daily gap over here. We've come off this daily gap, pushed higher, taken out this high. So this becomes our daily last line of defense over here. So ideally we don't want to see this breached for for shorts. And on Friday we did tap below this liquidity, push back up out of that weekly fair value gap that we'd seen, and we have closed far above the Thursday. So we can also see that on the daily we do have this other lower swing high over here. So we're going to mark that out as daily. And then we're going to move down to the 1 hour time frame to look for a point of interest to then take this longer. So straight away I can see down over here that we do have this 1 hour BPR. So I'm going to be waiting for price to come back into this 1 hour BPR for further longs for the rest of the week. Targeting overall this high over here. First target will be this daily high over here and any intraday highs that are created within the trading week on the lower time frames. So if we just play this, so as we can see, we got on Monday we got shorts down into this area. If we drop down onto the 15-minute time frame, we can see right over here that equal highs were then created. So that's immediately telling me that there's liquidity up at this point. And we can see that price has tapped into that BPR and then continue to push higher. Due to the fact that this has happened at around 6 o'clock, I didn't bother taking this trade or looking for any sort of opportunity in here, simply because on that Monday I was looking for a pullback into this area for them further longs. So this trade was not ideal for this day, so this wasn't traded. Alright. So the next thing is we have to consider where is our next opportunity to be going long going to be from. So we do have this gap over here, this fair value gap. However, if we look like this, that is not in the 50% range, it's not below, it's not on that discount that we want to be able to take buys. So what we will be looking for is this gap down here, which is congruent with tapping into this BPR, and then all these order blocks over here that we can see in here after pushing back up. So we are looking for price to tap back down into this zone before we look for an opportunity to further go long. Right. So we can see that on London session, price is pushed straight down into this area. You can also see that upon observing, we've left this liquidity over here from the previous session, which hasn't had any attempt to come and sweep it, so we know that this is our liquidity target, it is also relatively equal highs. So that's again 50-minute equal highs right there. So that would be the first take profit right here, first take profit, and then this would be the second take profit. So at this point I would be looking for an entry. So we're going to want to drop down to the 1 minute time frame, and we would want to observe what's occurring. So we're just going to play the chart and see what happens. So straight away we haven't seen any market structure shift. You know, the previous high over here would have been this. We have then created another swing high right here. We are then also creating some equal highs right here as well. We did create this slight fair value gap off of this, but that wouldn't have been an ideal entry. You don't want to just take it straight away. So I could have the US 30 chart up right now. However, it would be a lot to just manage two charts at one time, especially going through the replay mode, so we can try and get this as authentic as possible. However, right, if you were on the US 30 chart as well as, so the YM as well as this ES chart, and this is some homework for you, you can go back and observe that there is SMT between these 2 points right here. So as soon as we have this SMT, and we also have a push above this high right here, and then ideally we want this swing high right here on the 1 minute time frame to be broken, and indeed it does get broken. Now simply all we're doing is we're looking for an entry within this area over here. So as all of this is an order block and we have this fair value gap overlapping, our entry is a limit order right on this area right here, stop loss below here, and then our first take profit is that 50-minute equals high over here, and let's see what happens. So bang, we get tapped into, and then we're just waiting for price to do its thing, and then once we have a close above this high over here, we can move that to break even. So still waiting for a confirmation displacement above that high. Still won't have put my stuff to break even yet, and then at this point I would have put this to break even, and then you can comfortably let that trade run. Alright, for time's sake, we're going to speed that up a bit. And as we can see, nearly came back and got us out, but we would have been at break even, so that's perfectly fine. And first TP has been hit. Just for the sake of this, we're going to also go back and just move our stop loss back to where it was. So, and then we can see that this also does run this high as well. However, that was not in session, so I would highly recommend that you close out your trade, especially if you're just day trading, before the end of the session, which I did. As soon as this high was taken, the trade got closed. And now we're into the next day and we're seeing what we can be offered. So obviously the overall target is the weekly over here, but since I'm trading on a Top Step account and all trades get closed at 9 o'clock anyway, there's no point in me holding through this high over here. So as soon as this got hit at 7 o'clock, I was basically just out of the trade, and there's no point in staying in the trade any longer. So on Wednesday, this is almost a turtle soup scenario. So if we kind of look at the models we're getting over here, this is essentially, if you backtest this, especially on the micro SES chart, this is essentially your 2022 model. We've pushed down, taken some sell side liquidity, pushed up the buy side liquidity, and then pushed down. You do have your FVG entry over here. You could have been in all of these shorts, but it's not what our overall bias was for the week, so we didn't get those shorts. Our overall bias is long, so we're only looking long. So no need to, be in every single move. No need to do all this fancy shit. Just, catch your moves, be done for the day. There's better things to do, man. Enjoy your life. And then we'll see over here a sort of turtle soup scenario. And then you can see the different types of trades. So the next target is obviously this daily swing high over here, and the next target after that is that weekly swing high. So I'm just going to go into the 15-minute and then we're going to play it. Sorry, we've entered London session. So as we can see over here, we had a clear fair value gap for price to come back, mitigate, then push higher. On this day, as we can see, since that's been mitigated, there are no clear fair value gaps being offered in the market. You could have this fair value gap over here, and then your low would be this order block, these two order blocks over here, which then consequently went and pushed up above these sides over here. So your last line of defense would be this guy over here. So we're just going to play it. There is news at 3 o'clock. So the entire time, you can see that we took some liquidity on one side of Asia there. We've then pushed to the other side of Asia. And the entire time, we have long since we took that sell side liquidity. Alright? The entire time we're long, still long. FEG created, still long. And then as soon as news comes out, we get this massive sell-off, right? So everybody who was in all of these long positions all the way up here have now been caught in that turtle soup scenario, because all these everyone's seeing this uptrend pushing up. Everybody's got caught in the turtle soup. So however, what we want to observe is this right here. So again, with the SMT divergence, you can see on the YM we have SMT right here. And this is a chance for you to go and backtest this and do some homework, see it for yourself. The more chart time you get, the better. Go back, see the SMT right here. And then we're simply waiting for some type of an entry. So you could have had this tap into the fair value gap over here, which is aligned with this order block and stuff, but not our cup of tea. Still waiting. Now we have had a healthy push above this intraday high. And then this can be your entry right here. So I would recommend that you put your stop right below this low, since that's coming off of this fair value gap. And then obviously your first target would be this over here. And then the overall target we're looking for is the weekly high up here. and let's just see what happens. So price does come back in for that deeper retracement. Sometimes you will see almost a pattern like this before it decides to go and push higher. Sometimes it will mitigate it twice and then push below the low like it did here. So anyone who had their stops below this swing low over here has then been liquidated out of the market, and then it will continue to push higher. And then just to speed things up, it's going to go back into that 15-minute time frame, and you can see we've easily hit TP1, and then TP2 has been ran as well. So I wouldn't have got TP2. I believe I did close out beforehand due to top step closing at 9 o'clock. But as you can see here, TP2 was ran at that weekly high. So our overall bias has been met, and now that you've reached the weekly high, your trading week is complete. There's nothing else for you to do, and that is a very simple way to break down what you're looking for the week, have your bias, not feel like you have to trade every single move that happens in the market, and have a good win rate. I hope you learned something from this video. Take what works for you, backtest the strategy, and disregard the rest.